Salve a tutti amici di Comics Reporter Fumettomania, oggi abbiamo un nuovo ospite veramente iconico, internazionale, riconosciutissimo, lo ricordiamo per la sua run su Spider-Man, su Thor, la famosissima morte di Superman. Abbiamo con noi oggi Dan Jurgens, welcome!
Thank you, good to be here.
Ok, cominciamo subito con le domande. Allora, il prossimo 20 luglio uscirà la nuova miniserie Blue and Gold, dove riprenderai appunto il personaggio da te creato, Buster Gold, in una miniserie di 8 numeri pubblicata dalla DC Comics. Parlaci per favore di questo nuovo progetto.
Yes, this is actually a project that we started thinking about many years ago, and stars Bluester Gold and the Blue Beetle as they team up sort of as they were in the Justice League a number of years ago. It promises to be a lot of fun with great art by Ryan Sook, who is doing all the artwork, including color. I'm writing it, and I think people will really enjoy it. It's going to be a little different than what you're seeing from a lot of places right now.
Il prossimo anno ricorreranno i 30 anni della morte di Superman. Che ricordi hai di quell'esperienza e quanto e se ha cambiato la tua carriera artistica?
Yes, it did change things for me quite a lot, and a lot of it is because, you know, we just started to want to tell a very good Superman story. And often what we find in our lives, our own personal lives, is that we really think about someone's importance to us only after they're gone. And we thought if we had Superman die, we would really be able to talk about his importance to us as fans, as readers, and within his own world and universe. And what became so incredible is that it became something that became sort of this worldwide phenomenon and this worldwide hit that hit levels we could not even imagine. You know, we just wanted to tell a good story, and it became something that still endures to this day.
Ok, passiamo adesso alle domande che vengono poste dal pubblico. Federico Corleo ci dice, ci chiede, puoi raccontarci qualche ricordo sulla creazione del costume di Spider-Man di Ben Reilly, per favore?
Actually, to correct that, yes, I worked on the very first story that featured the new costume for Ben Reilly's Spider-Man character. But I'm not the one who designed it. Mark Bagley, who we all know is such a fine Spider-Man artist, is actually the one who came up with that look. And it's a very effective one. It's a great costume. We all love drawing it. But it was actually Mark Bagley who designed it and did so with a very great solution, as we just wanted to find kind of a fun new costume for Spider-Man.
Benissimo, quindi l'artista, il collega Mark Bagley ha disegnato, ha creato appunto questo costume. Matteo Castellani, adesso andiamo a una miniserie che ha fatto epoca, che è Marvel vs DC. Matteo Castellani ci chiede, ricordi il criterio di scelta dei personaggi appunto utilizzati per questa miniserie? Per la DC Comics praticamente erano tutti gli importanti erano presenti, mentre per la Marvel mancavano personaggi iconici come Iron Man, Daredevil, Fantastici 4. Puoi dirci più o meno com'era la dinamica di scelta?
Yes, and I think in a perfect world, we would have liked to have seen a number of more characters added to it. The problem is, if you start to consider all of the characters that DC had and all of the characters that Marvel had, it would have had to run for 2 years, much longer than what we had. So what we tried to do was to pick out things that would be, shall we say, reasonable. So for example, you had to have Superman and the Hulk, and you had to have Captain America and Batman, and you had to have Wonder Woman and Thor, or I mean Storm rather. And so it became a point of our ability, given the amount of room we had, to have to focus on just a few characters, pick out the best ones we could for that short amount of space that we had, even though we all wished we could have added a lot more.
gentilissimo sempre, continuiamo con la domanda di Matt McAllister, che ci chiede: realizzerai attraverso un crowdfunding qualche libro con qualche personaggio da te creato, di tua proprietà?
Yeah, I have a couple of thoughts along those lines and hope to get to it one day. And, maybe later this year we'll finally have time to get to do something like that. Yes.
Ok, quindi dobbiamo aspettarci qualche bella novità. Fabio Butera ci chiede: contrapposto a personaggi divini come Superman o Thor, su cui hai lavorato, hai creato Bostergo, un personaggio che si è rivelato cruciale nei maggiori eventi DC e che è molto umano. Qual è stato il concept iniziale e che impressione hai nel vederlo evolversi continuamente?
Well, one of the things you mentioned that he is very human, which he is. If we were to go back to the mid 1980s when Booster first showed up, the DC characters all tended to be very, very perfect sorts of characters at that point. Superman was probably the king of them all in terms of being perfect. And what I wanted to do was create a character that would fit in, but be much more fallible. Someone who had faults and had to overcome those faults in order to be a hero. And because I think that journey for a person is much more interesting. And that's really what we wanted Booster to be, while also recognizing this idea that if you were to do something like that in real life, the concepts of publicity and public relations and media response would all be a part of it. And so I think it fit the world of that time very well. I actually think some of that fits the world of today even better. And still this idea of someone who is trying to overcome his own faults while also dealing with this world of social media and media recognition and this idea that perhaps you can even fund it by crowdsourcing and things like that. And that's part of what we'll see in the new Blue and Gold series coming out soon.
Andiamo avanti con un'altra domanda che viene posta sempre dal nostro Fabio, una domanda appunto che poniamo spesso ai nostri ospiti, che sono autori completi come te. Quanto il tuo essere disegnatore influisce il tuo stile di sceneggiatura?
I think certainly in terms of writing, all writers somehow end up with a bit of themselves in their characters. And I think, for example, with Superman, that's probably a bit as to how I wish I was, or perhaps everybody was, where we can recognize, that nobility in Superman. And ideally, it's how we would all act if we had such a thing as powers. With Booster Gold, it was very much this idea of I was probably, 24 years old when I first thought of him. And that's the way I would have been at 24 if I had powers or something like that. I'd say, yeah, I'll try and make a little bit of money doing this. Why not? But I think all writers tend to get some aspects of themselves into their characters. And if it's not that, it's certainly people that we know. In terms of drawing, I think that becomes very much a question of this sort of a discussion. And I've had this with people before where I've seen people who have grown up in a very sort of crowded urban environment and they have a tighter style that is maybe a lot more heavy with shadow and things like that. Whereas I grew up in a very much wide open country where I deal more with a lot of light and less shadow because we have long days and the sun is out all the time and we don't have tall buildings casting the shadows one might find in a city. So I think there's some of that in my work as well. And I think, once again, that's true for many people. It's not always 100% universal, but I do think there's something to that for a lot of us.
Andiamo con l'ultima domanda, grazie per la tua risposta. Dan, per favore, parlaci del tuo rapporto col nostro paese, il rapporto con l'Italia.
I have not been to Italy. I would love to be there. Recently, within the past 2 years, have done tours in both Germany and France, and have been talking with the good folks at Panini, who just published the new Death of Superman version, which is so nice, by the way, and certainly been looking for a way to get us there. But obviously, the pandemic, COVID-19, has been such an interruption for all of us somehow, and we're still trying to find a way to put all of that back together. And once we can, and once we're past that point, I hope to be there very, very soon. I would love to be there.
Perfetto, Dan. Allora, noi da parte di Comics Reporter, Fumettomania, ti ringraziamo per il tuo tempo, per la tua disponibilità, per le tue eccellenti risposte e ti salutiamo. Quindi da parte di Comics Reporter, Fumettomania, per oggi è tutto. Grazie, alla prossima. Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you very much for your time and your opportunity. We really enjoyed this interview.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. Very kind.
Perfetto. See you in Terrificon, no?
Oh, good.
Maybe.
You might be here. I don't know if you've done it before. Terrificon is very, very nice. It's a very good convention. So yes, I hope to see you there.
So hope. Okay. Thank you, Dan. See you. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.